Hey everyone, welcome to your Capricorn super new moon reading that's going to be happening on January 2nd of 2022. So first of all, Merry Christmas. These are coming out on Christmas Day, so if you celebrate Christmas, a very Merry Christmas to you. And I'm excited for this reading because I'm going to do a reading for each of the zodiac signs. But first of all, I just want to talk about, it being a new moon is all about a new beginning that's coming about and perfect for a new year, the start of a new year. So we have that new moon energy coming in, but as I mentioned, it's a super new moon as well, which a super moon is, like the Earth, the trajectory of, or the orbit of the moon around the Earth is not like a perfect circle. So like, let's say if this was the Earth, it's more of an oval shape. So when it's close to the Earth and when the full moon happens, it's a super new moon because it is actually closer to the Earth. It's not like significant where it's like, super, super close, but it's closer than it is normal. So it appears bigger than it normally would. That's why it's called super, but it also impacts like the tides and impacts our emotions. Usually moons impact our emotions anyway, but when the orbit is closer to us, it is even more amplified. It's even more influential. So just be aware of that. And of course, this is going to be the Capricorn new moon, which I'm going to talk about the influences of the Capricorn energy around the new moon here in just a moment. But it's also, I wanted to mention that there is this cyclical, like there's always a cycle of a new moon to a full moon, back to a new moon every 28 days or so. But there's also the signs rotate about every 6 months. So like this new moon in Capricorn is the ending of a cycle of when it was in a full moon in Capricorn, which was back on June 22nd of this year. So if you look back in June of 22nd and see what was going on around that period of time, the endings that start to happen as the light moves away from the full moon to the new moon is the letting go of things. It's the changing of things. So from the last new moon before that up to the June 22nd full moon in Capricorn, there was growing, there was, amplification, forward progression in whatever seeds you planted on that new moon in Capricorn before. And then you get up to the full moon, and then the full moon to the next new moon is about the changes that you make to prepare for this new moon coming up. So if you want to kind of look and see what has been falling away or changing since June 22nd up to this point, that'll also give you an idea on, what's going on there. All these cards are from this deck here too, just in case some people have asked. Moonology Oracle cards. So if you love these, it has a great little book that comes with it that really goes into the influences and some of those things as well. But for the Capricorn new moon, again, it's a time for like this newness that is coming in. The energy is so perfect to set like new goals and make new concrete plans, even take a step or two towards those plans, especially if it's towards your professional life. And if you're like have something that you're doing as a dream that you're doing on the side, it could even be about how making that your profession, your career, instead of just a hobby and something that you love to do on the side. Because the time is ripe for new, improved work cycles. And so it brings this ambition, this feeling and energy to build, and really a lot of energy to put in a lot of hard work. So it's a good time to like make a list of your hopes, your dreams, your ambitions, your intentions for the year ahead. And you can even have like a little mantra that says something like, the harder I work, the more blessed I get. And so this does have a lot of work energy behind it, as far as you feel motivated. You do want to do the work and invest it to get what you want to do. So it's a great time to, put those plans together and make a movement forward. But we're going to dig into each of the individual zodiac signs for more specifics for you. And we're going to jump into that reading right now. All right, all my Libras, this is your Capricorn super new moon reading. We're going to start off by pulling a card here from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. And this is just going to represent what the Creator wants you to know about the 3-week period around this new moon. It'll be the week before and the 2 weeks after. All right, Creator, so for our Libras, what would you like them to know about this 3-week period for the super new moon? All right, so this is the one for you. You've got new moon beginning, so hello. I guess this means you're having new beginnings. And it's card number 2, so we will see what beautiful message comes on here for you. It says you are offered a fresh start. Your journey is beginning, just like we were talking about with Capricorn, right? So take the first steps towards something new. It is time to place emphasis on your health and well-being. And the affirmation for this card is, I accept and rejoice in renewal and beginnings. It says there is something incredibly poetic and even romantic about that tiny sliver of silver that is the new moon. After the waning cycle and depth of the dark moon, here is appearing in the sky incredibly a crescent of the finest light. Almost a scratch upon the blackboard of the universe. Here is the evidence that even after the darkest night, light returns again. The crescent of the new moon is an ancient symbol that stretches back to ancient prehistory. There are cave drawings featuring crescent moons, sculptures of goddesses with crescent moon diadems, and the goddesses Aphrodite, Hecate, Diana, Artemis, and Nana, and many Central Asian female deities were often depicted with the new moon symbology. Go back even further into the Neolithic cave paintings where moon and sun symbology features with no phase more commonly being depicted than the new moon. So when the new moon appears in the lunar cycle, we're gifted with a new beginning and a fresh start. What we have identified as useless or unneeded anymore has been released in the void of the dark moon. And here, waiting is a new chance here. We get to renew our lives and feel free enough to risk trying again. Whether we're asking for a fresh start in relationships or a new love, or a heralding the actioning of intentions such as better health, a new business, or the start of a new project, riding the new moon energy will assist us. Many creative people start new works on a new moon, and I personally, as an author, like to begin all my new works on this phase, even if beginning means simply typing up a cover page or outline. The most powerful of new moons for new starts traditionally are within the seasons of spring. And the companion stone for this is Celestine. Of course, with this being a super new moon, it also is a great time for these new beginnings. So, not much more we can add into this. This is definitely about this newness of everything we talked about with the Capricorn super new moon. So we're going to pull some cards here from the Revelations Tarot and just see what else the Creator wants you to know about each of the 3 weeks of this period. So we're going to look at the week before, the week after, and the second week after. So we're going to pull 3 groups. We'll start with the week before the new moon. What do you want our Libras to know? Okay, you got these 3 here. And then what about the week after? Okay, you got 2 there. And then for the second week after. That one and that one, and that one. All right. So let's dig in here. So the week before this super new moon, you've got the Empress. So this is beautiful, totally perfect with this, because the Empress is all about new birth and creativity. She's Mother Nature, Mother Nurture, so definitely about taking care of yourself as well. So definitely mothering yourself, and this new birth and this newness coming in. So totally everything in with what we were talking about already. And then you have the Five of Cups. Now the Five of Cups are your emotions, and usually they'll have like 3 spilt cups and then 2 cups behind them. So here are the 3 cups that are spilt, and I love these revelation ones because then they have the 2 cups on the positive side as you flip this around. So this is about mourning for the things that you feel you've lost in your life and the lack, and each one of those cups, of those 3 cups, represent, like, one of them is relationships, whether it's romantic or family or friends or work or for feather baby. One of them is like your circumstances, like your jobs, your education. And then the other cup is like your physical body, your possessions, your bank account. And so these are mourning all those because they did not fill you up. They are empty feeling when you were told that they were going to fulfill you and make you feel whole, but they weren't. But we're going to flip this because the energy that is coming in is the 2 of Cups. One of these cups is your human side, your shadow side. The other one is your higher self, your spiritual self. And what that represents is that you have this 2 sides of you in your life. You have that human side, your shadow side, that is ruled by really fight or flight in the fear realm, and we're always looking and comparing and contrasting to see if we're lovable, acceptable, blah blah blah, all these uncomfortable emotions rooted in fear. But then you have all this beautiful emotions of your higher self, because you are this powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love. And that unconditional love is what we're truly thirsting for, because it's stable, it's eternal, it fills us up. Whereas this, those 3 of Cups that did not, they're conditional love that's unstable, because people change or pass away. Situations never stay the same. Things like our bodies and our possessions, they break down, they deteriorate, they burn down, or they're stolen, right? And so it's this beautiful realization that there's 2 of you, and 2 different emotions. You're not stuck in this unstable environment. There's a different place you can connect to. And so that's where this big chalice, it's Ace of Cups really, because it's full of unconditional love of the spiritual world, and it pours down into that 2nd cup here, a lot like the Temperance. I think it's the Temperance Major Arcana card. So this is a beautiful connection to that higher spiritual emotion. And then you have the 7 of Swords. And the 7 of Swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, your attitudes, your expectations. It's called the Thief card. It's like, be aware of someone who's deceiving you. But for me, this is always be aware of your thoughts and your beliefs that are deceiving you. What is the unknown? What are those old, small T truths of the little 3 of Cups, kind of thing that are keeping you restricted, keeping you trapped. And so you're really starting to understand and see those things that are doing that to you. And so this awareness starts to happen, especially as you connect to this higher realm, right? And then the super new moon hits, and then the week after that, this is what comes your way, and you have the 5 of Pentacles. So this is beautiful because one of the thoughts and beliefs that you realize have been keeping you feeling small is your belief about your abundance, your belief in lack, and your belief in your worthiness to receive. And so this is this beautiful, aha moment where you realize that it's not the outside world that actually brings you your needs. It is the creator of all things that brings things to you, and they have limitless resources. And so they will bring you what is for you, what is meant for you, and that may come through the middlemen, which are the shipping company of these humans. So the world, how it comes to us is through there, but where it comes from is from the creator. So you have this foundation that starts to build here that you start to understand, because 5 is a number of change, and it's this transformational change, like this 5 of Cups. You have this change of understanding of what is fulfilling and what's not. You have an understanding here of where your worth comes from, where your abundance, where your resources come from. You're not left out there, starving to death. Usually you'll see like people that are stuck outside, and they're wounded and they feel abandoned, but you'll see this big stainless glass window, which represents the universe, that they are watching you and that they supply you and you're not alone. So you have this beautiful realizations that are happening here, because you're understanding those thoughts and beliefs that are negatively impacting you, these emotions that are, this beliefs on the outside world, but it's all this new beginning of feeling all this way, because this is the stuff that you're transforming. Yeah, because you have another 5, the Hierophant. And the Hierophant, there's 2 sides to the Hierophant. There's the controlling dictator side, which brings all this stuff, which is when a religious leader feels unsafe, then they try to gain control, because that somehow imitates safety to them. But the only thing with that is when they gain control, they fight so much to maintain it because they fear losing control, and then they want more control, and then they want your control, and so they almost become like this little spiritual dictator. Well, the loving side of the Hierophant is someone who is more, like when you look at this one down here, because this one looks so, you must be obeyed. And this one, is very much more warm and more, guiding and loving. And so we're going to also transform that around here, because it's the same thing with the Emperor before this card. They both have that shadow dictator side where they try to make things happen because of their feeling out of control and fearful. But when you're full of love and you're full of, this 2 of Cups, then they are already full in themselves, because they already know they have this unconditional love inside them. And so everything they're doing is for the people, to bring everyone together, because they know when they come together in love instead of out of control and feeling afraid, when they come together with love, they can do so much. They can be so successful together, and they can impact the world so much and spread so much love for the world. And so this is really this transformation that is happening between all this feeling of control, feeling unsafe. But you're with this love here, you're really moving into this spiritual kind of leadership approach of, that you have everything you need inside of you. You trust the Creator, their timing and bringing you what you need, but you also trust that you can fill up and you can share this love with other people as well. And I love that, because then we're coming into the second week after the new moon with that awareness and this change that's starting to happen. Yeah, and you have the Queen of Pentacles. So she's like, reminds me of the Empress, because she is like Mother Nature, Mother Nurture as well, because she's all about the outside world, new birth, feeling whole and complete. Definitely the water emotions come in here. So you're definitely connected to the spiritual realm, where you have that beautiful, and this is all about new birth too, because she's usually pregnant as well. So this is about new birth, and this is about your entire life in every area of your life, and this is specifically your outside world, where that's happening. Yeah. 2 of Cups. So we're talking about the Two of Cups here. So, this is that beautiful joining together of your spiritual self with your physical self. So everything I talked about here, reiterate here. And then it brings you the Wheel of Fortune. 10 endings and new beginnings. And there's a beautiful message that comes with the Wheel of Fortune. And it's basically before you came down here, your soul, your higher self, the higher cup in here, they chose, like, this is who's gonna, represent me, this character for this lifetime. This is the avatar. This is when I'm going to enter the game. This is when I'm going to leave the game. And these are all the fated events that I want to have happen during this game, so I can understand more about who I am and experience these things, right? The beautiful thing is, though, within each of those fated events, we still have the free choice and free will of what story we're going to apply to each of those fated events and what emotion we're going to choose to feel with each of those events. We're going to choose an extreme emotion of fear or an extreme emotion of unconditional love or something in between. And I know sometimes it's like, well, it didn't feel like I'm making a decision. And it's like, well, it's because out of habit, we were conditioned with a popular opinion on when this happens, this is what it means. When this happens, this is how you're supposed to feel. And it's been reinforced and reiterated so many times that it became our habit, and now it's our reaction. And it happens so fast, it doesn't feel like we're making a choice. But if you can slow things down and take a deep breath, you realize that if everyone went through the same situation and felt the same way or had the same story, then we might think, well, it's the situation that defines it. But because so many different people going through the same situation look at it differently and feel about it differently, then it's not the situation that determines it, but the person going through this situation that determines it. So it just shows you that you have the free will. You're not in this out of control drama train that's about to leap off the tracks and dramatically explode in this gorge, but you're more on like a monorail from Disney World, where it's attached to the track. It moves along smoothly along this track, stopping at its specific points on time. And so you move from this victimhood that things are happening to me, that life is happening for me. And so you just see life in a completely different way. And so that's kind of this journey that you're on here, is because you're realizing that all these things that you went through, all these beliefs that you had that you're transforming and changing, happened on purpose, for a purpose, but you're ready for something new. You're ready for this new beginning. You're ready for this fresh start. You're ready for this new perspective. You're ready to feel this new love. You're ready for these new truths. So it's going to be a beautiful awareness that's coming, because you see these things to transform them. So don't be afraid of them. Don't judge yourself for them. Unless you want to experience judgment, then by all means enjoy that journey. We all experience that judgment, self-judgment. But when you realize this, that your soul chose for these experiences to happen on purpose, for a purpose, then it's not so bad. And the purpose is like, when you're this being of light on the other side of unconditional love and joy and peace and laughter, you don't realize you're that when you're amongst all of it. It's like being surrounded by air. You don't realize air is all around you and that you're breathing air in, because you don't know any different until you're 6 feet under water, looking up at air, going, that is air. This down here is unair, and there's no air for me to breathe here. So now I understand it more, I appreciate it more, and now I'm swimming back toward it because I need it. But in experiencing its opposite, you understand more fully what it is, and that's what we do. We come here as the shadow to experience life of our opposites, of our fear, of conditional love instead of unconditional, of sadness instead of joy, angry cussing instead of laughter, so chaos instead of peace. And so all this opposites we experience, it helps us understand more fully who we are by seeing it from outside of it. So just know that it's all happening on purpose, for a purpose, but you also are never alone. You can, this beautiful connection is showing you that you are so much more then your human side and the spiritual side of you is introducing itself to you in a more deeper way than you have ever experienced them before. So beautiful, beautiful message here for you. I'm going to leave it at that. I mean, just know in addition to these readings, I also do monthly readings for each of the zodiac signs. Also like weekly energy updates by each of the elements like fire signs, water signs, etc. and a variety of other readings. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those and be notified immediately when they become available, if you haven't done so already, just click the subscribe button down below. And that's going to make this notification bell pop up. And you click on that, you can set your setting to be notified immediately. And also, if you'd like to help share these messages and share the love, if you'd like to give this video just a thumbs up and click that like button, that just helps the YouTube algorithm share these and recommend the videos to other people as well. So if you want to be part of sharing the love, you can do that. There's never any pressure. So just if you choose to do that, I just appreciate that very much. All right, well, just know as you're going throughout this journey that each second of every day, you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things. And of course, I love you too. Have an amazing 3-week period around this new moon. I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon, but until then, you take care.